He started his journey as a mechanic's apprentice, but his factory was bombed in World War II and then completely destroyed in a massive earthquake. Despite all these devastations, he never gave up. With his tenacious spirit and innovative ideas, he created a global brand in the motorcycle and automobile world. This is Soichiro Honda's story of achieving the impossible. Soichiro Honda's success story and the birth of the Honda brand begins. Born in 1906 in a small town near the Fuji Mountains in Japan, Honda grew up the son of a weaver mother and a bicycle mechanic father. He entered the world of mechanics by working in his father's workshop and developed his manual skills at an early age. Although he was not very successful in school, his passion and natural talent for mechanics could not be ignored. One day, he saw a Ford Model T automobile in their village, and it changed his life. After chasing after the car, he made a decision. He was going to be part of the automobile world. At the age of 15, he went to the Art Shokai garage in Tokyo as an apprentice and was introduced to automobiles. While working as an apprentice, he became fascinated by racing cars and carefully studied their design. As he worked on the maintenance of the cars, he began to dream of designing racing cars in the future. As Art Shokai grew and opened new branches, Honda took over a branch at the age of 21. Here he put his innovative ideas into practice by developing fire-resistant spare parts. Spending all the money he earned on product development, Honda started to produce his own racing car in his spare time. He broke Japan's speed record by building his own car with a modified Ford engine. However, after a serious accident, he ended his racing career and focused on engine design. Honda started working on piston rings and founded a company called Tokai Seiko in 1937. He worked in the workshop during the day and developed piston rings at night. Finally, he finalized his design and launched the Japanese automotive giant Toyota. But it was rejected for not meeting technical standards. Learning from the failure, Honda decided to rectify its shortcomings. He traveled around Japan, working with steelmakers and receiving technical training. For 2 years, he perfected the piston rings, learning and improving them relentlessly. This time, he knocked on Toyota's door again, and his design was a huge success. Honda's determination and innovative spirit would leave its mark on world automotive history. Toyota asked Honda to build a bigger factory by placing large orders, but due to World War II, all raw materials in Japan were allocated to the military. Unable to find even cement, Honda developed his own concrete pouring technique, built his factory, and started production. The factory soon grew to 2,000 employees and supplied half of Toyota's needs. However, bombing by American planes destroyed the factory. Honda rebuilt the factory, but as the war dragged on, steel became scarce in Japan. Honda met the need for steel by collecting additional fuel tanks left by American planes. But at the end of the war in 1945, a massive earthquake completely destroyed his factory. After the war, due to gasoline shortages, the Japanese abandoned automobiles and turned to bicycles. Seeing this opportunity, Honda founded the Honda Technical Institute in 1946, developed a small 50cc engine, and fitted it to bicycles. Seeking capital to expand production, Honda wrote letters to 18,000 bicycle dealers asking for support. Some provided financial and raw material support, and 1,500 bikes were sold in the first year. In 1947, Honda produced its first twin-piston engine and officially established the Honda Motor Company in 1948. The 98 cubic centimeter, 3-horsepower Honda D-Type made history as the company's first complete motorcycle. Soichiro Honda's journey to achieve the impossible thus turned into a success story that changed the world. Honda's low-fuel motorcycles are in great demand, and within 2 years, the company is able to produce 300 motorcycles per month. But in 1957, sales of the Type D began to decline. With more than 200 competitors, Honda develops a powerful and economical overhead valve, 4-stroke engine to stand out from the competition. In 1951, the Honda Type E with 146 cubic centimeters and 5.5 horsepower makes a big impact on the market. As sales skyrocket, Honda builds 3 new factories, increasing annual production to 32,000 units, and becomes Japan's leading motorcycle manufacturer in 1955. Soichiro and his general manager Fujisawa study the European market and see that small and economical mopeds are popular. Honda produces the 50cc 4-horsepower Super Cub model in 1958. The lightweight, economical, and durable motorcycle becomes a huge success worldwide. In 1959, it opens in the USA, and soon 100,000 units are sold every month. Within 2 years, Honda becomes the world's largest motorcycle manufacturer. Honda also participates in racing. In 1959, he enters the Tourist Trophy Grand Prix and within 2 years is in the top 5. But Soichiro had a bigger dream: to build automobiles. Although many say the car market is saturated, Honda is excited by the idea of producing small, economical vehicles. He recognizes the popularity of small cars like the Fiat 500 in Europe and sees an opportunity in the growing global demand for economical vehicles. With the Pinto and Chevrolet Vega on the road, Honda decides to enter production with small cars. It recognizes the challenge of stepping into the world's largest industry. In the early 1960s, he starts working on automobiles with his team of engineers, but the team does not have enough experience in this field. Soichiro Honda decides to participate in Formula One races to develop his own technology. His goal in racing is not to win victories, but to develop high-performance engines and automobile technologies. Honda starts participating in Grand Prix races from the early 1960s. Unsuccessful starts in 1964 to 65 demoralized the team, but winning the Italian Grand Prix in 1967 gives them new motivation. Honda's design team accelerates its automobile projects. Meanwhile, environmental movements gain strength around the world, and major changes begin to affect automobile design in the 1970s. In the U.S., environmentalist demonstrations create huge public pressure to tackle exhaust emissions. The U.S. Congress mandates automobile manufacturers to reduce exhaust gas emissions. These new regulations pose a serious technical challenge for all automakers. Soichiro Honda decides to turn this challenge into an opportunity. Most automakers turn to catalytic converters to clean up exhaust gases. But instead of cleaning the exhaust gases afterwards, Honda aims to develop a cleaner combustion system inside the engine and starts working on a revolutionary technology. A vortex-controlled engine known as CVCC is being developed that cleans the exhaust gas inside the engine. This engine, developed by Honda, will be the first engine to meet the emission standards set by the United States. Automakers around the world and America's 2 giants, Ford and Chevrolet, had been scrambling to develop an engine that met emission standards. Honda sees that this time of crisis is the right time to enter the automotive industry with cars powered by CVCC. The Honda Civic, which had been in the works for a long time, rolled off the production line in 1973. The vehicle had an 1169 cubic centimeter 50 horsepower engine. A 4-speed manual transmission was standard. The performance of the 2-door, 355 centimeters long, and 680 kilograms vehicle was high. The Civic was also appreciated for its optional 2-speed automatic transmission and rear windshield wiper, which were not available in many cars of the period, especially with the increase in gasoline prices during the world oil crisis. In 1973, economical, fuel-efficient vehicles were highly preferred by consumers. Civic was offered for sale in the U.S. for $1,795. This amount corresponds to $10,900 in 2021. In the first year, 32,500 Civics rolled off the production line. In 1974, the Civic's engine got a little bigger. A 1,237 cubic centimeter engine with 52 horsepower was used. Initially acclaimed for its fuel consumption, the Civic later began to gain popularity with its efficient, reliable, robust performance and environmentally friendly names. Production of the first-generation Civic ended in 1979, and 600,000 units were sold. In 1979, the second-generation Civic rolled off the production line. Its engine and itself grew a little bigger. In this generation, the Civic was produced as a sedan for the first time. Sales continued to grow rapidly in the second generation. To meet demand, the company built factories in countries such as South Africa, New Zealand, and Indonesia, where the vehicles were also produced. The Civic was a huge success. American manufacturers were stunned by Honda's engineering achievements and rapidly increasing sales. The Civic was sold only in Japan and the US market until 1986. Honda won the race and succeeded in capturing a large part of the market with high sales figures worldwide. Starting its journey as a small-class car, the Civic has evolved over the years into a larger, compact, comfortable to drive, high-performance, and high-tech automobile.